going on, everyone? Jack here from Hapchrome, and this is the DJI Mini 3 Pro. It's an awesome little drone, and it's less than 250 grams, but it doesn't meet the requirements if you want to fly over people. In order to do that, it has to be less than 250 grams with propeller guards, and it's not supposed to cause lacerations should anything hit these props. So we got to thinking, would it cut your fingers? Is it going to hurt? And Chris and I thought, in the name of science, we'd put that to the test. So we're going to stick our fingers inside of these spinning propellers. I don't suggest you do this at home. We'll test it with a few other things, and we'll see if these prop guards do the trick. Now, we're also in the process of lightening up one of these DJI batteries. We've got some smaller donor batteries that we're going to try and build into this system, right? So we have to use this board here from DJI in order for it to work with the drone. Will that work? I don't know. So check back for that video. Either way, let's put this thing to the test. Is it going to cut our fingers? I hope not. We'll see. All right, so before we decided to stick our fingers into the props, we figured we'd test it out on something, maybe a little bit softer, like a strawberry. And you can see it is definitely cutting up the strawberry, right? As we left it there, we actually are able to basically remove the entire tip. So, yeah, it'll cut a strawberry. And you know what? Strawberries are pretty delicious. So, let's not put it to waste. But that's not why we're here. We want to see, will it do damage to a finger? So this is Chris tapping it from above. And you can hear it's kind of moving it a little bit. And yeah, it hurts, but it's not the end of the world. I thought it was interesting. You could see how much those back motors are shaking with those propeller guards. I don't know. I think DJI needs to make better props. I think this would be a great all-in-one kit. You get the props, you get a lighter battery, so you can fly over people. But yeah, Chris is going to try it again. Just kind of go for it. He was a little nervous on this run. I'm not sure why. We did, maybe 4 or 5 tests, but, you hit it, finger's okay. It's not causing lacerations. And then from the bottom, you kind of push it up. Same thing. It stings a little bit, but it's not going to. He got it that time. It's not gonna cut your finger, right? For the most part. Here we're just kind of, showing you that one again. He got his finger all the way up in there. Yeah, it hurt, but it didn't cause lacerations. No bleeding. Now, where it's going to cause lacerations, if you catch it on the tip of the blade, yes, it could absolutely cut you there. And that's why you have prop guards, right? The prop guards are going to keep it from creating those lacerations. And even minimalistic prop guards, I think, are going to do the job. If you're flying over people, above people, you're not really running into the chance that you're going to hit them with a moving propeller. You're more susceptible to fall on top of them. And if that's the case, your props are probably not spinning because, we had some sort of issue with the aircraft. So, yeah, I bumped it into myself a few times with the prop guards. I was a little nervous, of course, but no damage, didn't hurt, right? The prop guards kept the propellers from hitting me, which, is the purpose of the prop guards. Is it 100% not going to cause lacerations every time? Probably not, right? There could be a scenario in which it might. Now, we're not the only ones that had this idea. Greg from the Pilot Institute did a similar test with the Mini 2, again, a sub 250 gram drone, where he ran it into an object with skin-like surface. And, the tests he ran a bunch. He crashed into a bunch of times. It's a great video. I suggest you check it out. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Actually, great channel. You should check it out. Tons of excellent information coming out of Greg. And he ran into that thing a bunch of times, and almost every single one of them laceration free. Now, he was able to create some lacerations with some of his final runs. Again, it's where the tip of the blade strikes the object, kind of just in the right way. I think more times than not, you're not going to create lacerations, abrasions, maybe, bruising. Is it going to sting? Absolutely. But is it going to cut the skin? Probably not. Not unless you get it just right. So, what's the answer? Can you fly the Mini 3 over people? Well, no, you can't.
Could you if it had propeller guards and a lighter battery? Probably. I think DJI should be making a kit where you buy the lighter battery and propeller guards that would allow you to fly safely over people in an open air assembly. Now, Category 1 drones don't have to have remote ID. So if you want to fly over people, you can if it's less than 250 grams. And I have a drone like that right here, right? This drone with its camera and its propeller guards is less than 250 grams. So I could fly this over people. Now, this camera, it's not the world's best. It's okay, but it's not on par with some of that DJI stuff. Plus, this doesn't have remote ID. So while I can fly it over people, I can't fly it over people in open air assemblies, and I think that's what we're really looking for. That's things like weddings, parades, any larger group of people. If I'm shooting a wedding or I'm trying to make some money flying my drone, that's what I want to be able to do. So without that remote ID, we're kind of limited. So, if you have a Mini 2 and a Japanese battery, sure, that would qualify as a Category 1 drone, but without remote ID, you can fly over people, but just small groups of people here and there, and not big, large groups, open air assemblies. So DJI, if you're listening, release a smaller battery with the prop guards. Now, Chris and I are going to try and make our own battery, still working on that. So we'll see if we can make the very first Category 1 drone with remote ID.
So subscribe to the channel and see if we get it done. We'd love to have you. So I have the actual regulations here from the FAA, and the part that says contain no exposed rotating parts that would cause lacerations. And I was thinking back to the old Parrot Bebop 2, and that thing, if it hit anything with the propeller, it stopped immediately, right? To the point where I saw people, I wouldn't do it, but I saw people stick their fingers in there and it stopped, fell out of the sky. And I think that we could implement some software with the DJI drones that had that effect as well. If it hit something, it would stop spinning. And, you'd only want to include that maybe if you're flying over people. So let's add a battery and the prop guards and this software limitation with remote ID, and boom, we're set.
I'd also love to see DJI make something like this, the Avata Sub 250. That'd be fantastic. Now, I fly this thing mostly indoors, but why not be able to fly outside and over people? I already have the prop guards built into this thing. That's awesome. It's got to be a lot lighter, right? I think this thing is right around 250 grams without a battery. So, I don't see us lightening this one up enough to fly over people, but a smaller version absolutely might work. So maybe you're thinking, well, Category 1, that's going to be really hard to do. What about Category 2 and Category 3 drones? Well, those drones just really don't exist for the public right now. You pretty much need a parachute to make them legal, and there's a whole lot of paperwork involved. So that's not coming anytime soon. Who knows? I'd like to see the rules change slightly so it's not the manufacturer that has to certify, but maybe something that you could add to your drone like a parachute, which is what you would need. So maybe those could be certified, to slow down a larger drone, right? This Mavic 3 will never be able to fly over people. It's just too big and too heavy. Even the Mini 3 would be too heavy, at top speed to create a small enough force of impact and impact energy that the FAA has kind of written into their rules. So yeah, lots of things could happen. We'll see. DJI, again, if you're listening, make that battery smaller, release it with some prop guards so we can fly legally over people. But our conclusion, probably not going to create lacerations. And if you have those prop guards, you're probably in good hands. Ultimately, it is up to you as the remote pilot to do what you think is safest. Err on the side of caution. Don't fly over people. In general, it's not smart. If they're there, they should know that you're there too, and make them part of your operation. Then you can fly over them. Anyway, hope this was helpful. Good luck and happy flying.